this is Rena and welcome to a design team project for Scrapbooking with me. I am still using this amazing paper collection from Graphic 45. Not sure if it's all still available. It's been a hot seller on the Scrapbooking with me store, so check it out, see what's still available, and get you some. I also used the powder bag tool because these are all shaker cards and you absolutely have to have that, and I will show you in the end video where I show how to make this card. I was extremely inspired by Amy Love's explosion canvas that she did with this same paper collection, and since I am a card maker, really mostly a card maker, I mean I do lots of stuff, but I wanted to apply it to cards, and so I started playing around with it and decided that you guys might like a tutorial, so I did that at the end of the project share. So I have a whole bunch of these fairy dies in my stash, and I had die cut a whole bunch of them just so I'd have them ready to go, and thought this one with the moon and her hanging from the moon would look perfect in the center of that explosion card. So if you think this looks difficult to do, I'm going to show you it's not. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, I had a ton of fun, and I'm just going to show you the cards because you can see what all is on them. This is a chipboard piece from the collection. This isn't one of the 8x8s from the collection. And a butterfly from my stash, some corner pieces from my stash, and you can see how that sequence has a lot of room and it's loud. So we pop up like this. I have some little fairy stamps there on the edge, and that's card number 1. Uh-oh. That one didn't want to stay on. Hold on, hold the phone. Technical difficulties. Okay. Here is our next card. Again, I used a chipboard piece from the collection, and this little fairy, which really resembles, I don't know, does she resemble Tinkerbell to you guys? She does to me. I used some corner pieces from my stash. Again, I have the sequins, and I used that powder bag tool, and again, I will show you how to use that when creating these shaker cards. I had some little mushrooms in my stash and added those in. Super cute. I got the little metal butterfly there, and that pops up like that with some more little fairies flying around on the sentiment area. It's my second card. All right, third card is this one. And you can see every single one of them has this like ripped out explosion thing going on. And there's all my shaker bits. I remembered to put some butterflies in this one. There's a butterfly sequence. So pretty. So on this one, because she looks like she's kind of blowing some fairy dust or blowing a kiss, I wanted this tag to look like she was blowing it off of her hand. So it says make a wish. I added some mushroom die cuts, and that card pops up like that. And it's a cute little corner stamp. Card number 3. Card number 4. This paper, I have so much of this in my stash. I'm going to be creating with this for years to come, because I just can't imagine my life without it. So definitely check it out at Scrapbooking with me. Here, these, I had some little more pink mushrooms. I tucked those in. This is from the paper collection. I think I fussy cut that out of something, and then I bordered it on a little bit of black. And lots of sequins goodies in there. And that one pops up with those cool, I don't know what these are, like orbs or something. And my last card is this one. And this is the card we're going to make together in the tutorial after the video. So, oops. Sorry, card number 4. So anyway, all the sequins in here, I used the little Prima bridge, and here is my fairy, and she is just sitting right there on top of a lovely flower cluster with some mushrooms. And then we've got a beautiful flower cluster up there. We're gonna do the whole card, including embellishing and sequins and explosion and everything. So stay tuned afterwards. This is from one of the ephemera collections. I just framed that out in black. And that pops up like that. That's the stamp that I used. So stinking cute. So those are my cards. And remember, the last card there is the one that we're going to make together. So stay tuned. Let me know what you think. I hope you enjoy these. Thank you, Amy Love, for the beautiful inspiration that you gave on your last design team project. And I will put all the links to Scrapbooking with me, the social media, and everything in the description box down below. You guys have a happy scrappy day, and I hope you enjoy the tutorial. Bye! Friends, you seem to have liked the previous tutorial, so we're going to do another. And the cards that you just saw, that's what we're going to do. So I cut this 5 1/4. Oh, I didn't realize it had purple on the other side. Okay, wonder why they did that. All right. Anyway, so I'm going to show you how to make the explosion card. And as I said in the video previously showing the cards, I wanted my explosion to look ripped. So I'm just going to take my scissors and kind of try to start in the center. And I'm going to cut to about 1 1/4 inches from the edge. If you need to mark it for your own benefit, you can mark 1 1/4 inches all the way around. But I don't need to do that, because it doesn't have to be exactly perfect. Just giving you an idea. Okay, so you've got 4 cuts. Now we're going to go and cut all of those in half. Okay, so there we go. We have our explosion. Wow, I really wish it was not purple on the other side, because this is what I had picked to go underneath. I don't know. Okay, well, what we're going to do is we're going to take our distress tool, and this is a Tim Holtz distressing tool. I don't know about any others. I've never used any others. But you have to really hold this paper firmly, or it's just going to rip that little triangle piece off. So you want to distress this part closest to the cut in here. You don't really have to worry about this tip piece, because that's going to be folded over and not seen. So don't be trying to do this little tip piece, because you're just going to rip it off with your distress tool, and then you won't be able to bend it back. So I just keep going around, and I'm not going to show you all of this because it will be boring. So I'll be back. I did distress all those little edges. And now what I do is usually I just use my finger, but I'm looking over at some paint brushes. Okay, so I'm going to use this paintbrush, and I'm going to kind of roll each piece. Kind of, what you're doing is you're like kind of training the paper in a way. And it's not going to stay without glue, but it'll be easier to glue it down if you kind of train the paper to do that explosion sort of look. Okay, so you get the idea. And if you wanted to, you don't even have to glue it down. It actually looks kind of cool this way too, but it might not stay that popped out looking. So I'm going to continue this, and then I'll be back after I'm done gluing them down. So all my little triangle pieces are distressed, and they are hot glued down. And you want to hold once you hot glue them, you want to hold it for probably 15 seconds per tear. Anyway, look how cool does that look. I love it. Okay, so here's the back. I have a piece of acetate that I already have pre-cut to fit my my explosion piece there. And I buy my acetate at the office supply store. You can buy it in a pack of 100. It's thin acetate. It's not, real heavy duty, but that's all I need. I buy some heavier duty from like online craft stores for different kinds of projects where I need heavier, but for shaker cards you don't. And I use fabric tack. So now I'm going to take my acetate, and you want to be sure that your acetate like you can see I kind of cut down into some of these a little bit more. So it's really best if you have a piece of acetate that pretty much covers the whole back. And that way, if you have some places that ripped a little bit, you're not going to have any sequins or bead leakage. Okay. So I already pre-cut my fun foam. And you can buy that in big sheets at any craft store. I get mine at Michael's. So, did I make these a little bit too long? You don't want your fun foam to really, hang out over the sides at all. So I'm going to cut just a teensy bit off. And when I do this, I usually use hot glue. And you want to get that on there pretty quickly. And you want to get it really close to the edge, but without hanging over. And you want to try for it not to show, on the inside. That's important too. So, yeah. Okay. Let's keep going. So, my long pieces are... All right. And you want to press it down so that you don't have any, bubbles of glue underneath. So then we're going to cut this to fit. Now on these, I'm running out of hot glue. I'm gonna have to stop at Michael's and get some hot glue. I hate that because no one can go to Michael's and not get more than what they went for. Okay, so we have one layer of fun foam on there. On the cards that I showed you earlier, I did 2 layers. So when you do 2 layers, you can get more sequence in there. You can get whatever it is you want to put in your shaker well. Sometimes we have little bits and bobs we want to put in there that are just a little bit bigger. And so we want to, you know, we want to give it some extra thickness so we can fit more stuff in there. And if you don't, you know, you don't have extra stuff you want to put in there and 1 layer is good enough, then just do 1 layer. So basically you're going to do the same thing. You're going to be careful you don't hang it over the edge of the paper or hang it over onto your clear acetate. And I really love using the fun foam because it's so much cheaper than the, you know, that thick tape that I quit using years ago because it was expensive. I used to buy it in big giant rolls at the office supply store. And yeah, it's like $30-something a roll. And I will tell you, when you put your hot glue right onto your acetate, you need to hold it away a little bit. Or if you're using the, I like to use the really hot glue gun, but it will bubble your acetate and cause you problems. So just hold it back a little bit and let it drip on. And if you get your fun foam on quickly, it'll be no problem. At least that's how I do it. So I forgot to mention, I think I forgot to mention that this piece right here is 5 3/4 by 5 3/4. Okay. So my paper that I cut to go underneath, and just so you're not going, what? You're just going to have yellow? No, I'm going to have that. So this piece under here, this yellow piece, is 6 by 6. So we're going to, some of my black foam is showing up through there, so I'm going to put just this little teeny bit of hot glue and tack that down so we don't show more of that black fun foam than, I mean, we're not supposed to see any of it. And then I've got another spot right here too. So no big deal. You know, it's a card. People aren't going to dissect it and inspect it, but if you can correct something, just go ahead and do it. Okay. So we're going to glue this piece of paper in the center. Let's see. Does that look better? No, that looks better. Okay. All right. So there we go. And what I'm going to do, since I have a double shaker well, I can just put my sequence right there in the middle so that I can see what's going on through the shaker well when I have to glue it down. So we're going to get some greens out because there's a lot of green. And I'm going to take my powder bag, which you can get at Scrapbooking with me. And I'm just going to run that across there. And that'll help get rid of any static. And you don't want to run it on the outsides because that's where you're going to put your adhesive. Just run it where you're going to put your sequins. So try to keep your sequins right there in the middle. Let's see, obviously we're going to need some purple because of our little explosion in purple. And then we are going to need some orange. I'm going to spread that out. Some orange. And maybe just a little bit of yellow. What do you think? Do we need some yellow? All right, maybe we'll just put just a few clear in there as well. And it doesn't really matter that they're all just kind of piled on top of each other right now, because when you get your top piece on, it's going to take care of all that. And if you want, you can spread it out just a little bit. All right. Now what we're going to do, you want to kind of check. We still got a little bit of static. All right, so I'm going to move these in a little bit more. Just so when I put my glue on this part and I go to put it down, I'm not going to get any sequins stuck. Now on this part, you definitely want to use a liquid adhesive. And Scrapbooking with me carries lots of adhesive, so check over there. This is just what I had in my stash. And you want to use liquid adhesive because you want that little bit of time to move once you get it set on there. So you want just a little bit of that yellow edge or whatever color that you're using. And you got a little bit of wiggle room with that liquid as opposed to tape or hot glue. So I'm going to give that a minute or two to set up before I shake my sequins, and I'll be back. This is going to be our base for our card topper. So this is a Spellbinders die, one of the Grand Nestabilities dies. So, you know, you can check out Spellbinders for that. And you can use any one of these giant, you know, shapes. You can even just keep it square if you want, okay? So I took a regular 8.5 by 11 and I cut it down to 6 1/4 and I left it 11. I scored it at 6 and I'm going to I mean, I already scored it on the scoreboard. So I'm going to fold it there, and then I scored it at 9. And the important thing is, because if you're using a 12 by 12, you want to cut this part off, because when you put your shape on there, if you're using a shaped topper, you don't want it, you know, if this came all the way to the bottom, then you would see it sticking out here. So you don't want that. Okay, so that's important. We're going to set that aside for right now. And remember that on your easel card, you know, your topper's going to sit like this. So you don't have to cover this part here and waste your paper. So I cut a piece 6 by 3 3/4. So I'm going to glue that down. And then I cut a piece of the design paper to match the topper, and I cut it to fit. I cut 1/4 smaller, so 3 1/2 by 5 3/4. And, you know, depending on what size your card is, you have to figure out what your, you know, what your dimensions are. Just each layer has to be 1/4 of an inch less in order to leave the borders, okay? So this piece right here is 5 inches by 2 1/2 inches. I have to think about that one. And I'm just going to wiggle that around to get all the glue. And I'm going to actually bring this one a little further closer to the bottom. And I'll show you why in a second, because we got to put something as our card stopper there. So this one is 4 3/4 by 2 1/4. And this, oh, I messed up. I'm not going to put this on yet. There's a reason I'm not going to put this on yet. But this is going to be our sentiment, you know, where the person who can write their own message to the recipient. So I want to show you something with that. All right. So we'll set that aside. We're all pretty much, except for this part, we're ready to go. So we're going to get our topper piece. And we're going to go ahead and glue that on. So now you can see, I like the sound of it better. And like I said, you can get more sequins and stuff in there. This is just regular cardstock I got at my local craft store. All right. So you want to center that. And there we go. All right, so on this card, I decided to do something a little bit different. I was going through my stash of stuff. I found this little bridge. And I thought, how cool would it be to stick that bridge on the acetate? So I'm going to do that. And I'll be honest with you, because I am using this, you know, Prima piece, when I go to sell this card, it will be a little more pricey than my other cards, because these things cost money, right? But if you're giving this to a loved one, how cool. What a cool piece to add to a card. Just be standing at the ready if the person ever decides to throw it away, so you can rip it off and use it again. All right, look at that. Doesn't that look great? I love it. I had considered also using this, and I may use it. I think I will use it on a card at a later time. But we want to add our fairy, and I was checking out what I was going to do with her, and I think that's where I'm going to put her. And to put her down, I'm going to use hot glue. And I use a real heavyweight black cardstock so that she won't bend. I mean, she's really strong. So there we go. Then we're going to take our base, and we're going to add some sparkle. We're going to add some of this. So I'm going to cut that, and we're going to hot glue that right on the edge there. You don't want to go too far up because then your card won't stay at an easel. It'll want to just fall backwards and fall backwards. So very important that you put your card stopper, whatever it is you're using for that, you give yourself at least, let's measure that and be certain, at least 2 inches. Okay, guys? So then we're going to go ahead and fold that down, and you're going to put your glue or your score tape or whatever it is you're using. You can get score tape at Scrapbooking with Me. And this isn't as hard, this part of the adhering process. So if you wanted to use score tape, that would be fine. So you're going to center that with the base hitting the base of your bottom piece. And then you're going to press that down. I mean, we kind of went through all this process before, so I think you guys know, but this is the different, this explosion part is really cool. And again, I want to thank Amy Love for the inspiration with her beautiful canvas that she did. And, I just took it to arena level, which was, how can I apply that to a card? So I have a feeling you guys are going to want to see me decorate with flowers and stuff, so we'll be back for that. Kind of did a few things, and let's see what we end up with here. All right, so I'm going to put this flower, I'm going to tuck kind of underneath her like she's sitting on this flower cluster. All right. So I'm gonna probably, let's see, I got a little bit of this. I just kind of cut it apart and randomly see where it is going to look good. I just kind of hot glue that stuff right in there. Looks good. Gonna put a little bit of purple in with it. Since we got purple going on, I wasn't actually planning on that originally, but I'm gonna make it work. Okay, so she looks like she's sitting on a little cluster of flowers. So then we want to offset by putting a cluster up here. I forgot how I had this one. Okay, we're going to do it like that. All right. So we're going to glue this one onto the rolled piece. And this one's going to go like that on the bottom part. And then this one, and you'll hear lots of crafters say they like to use things in threes, and that it's just, I don't know exactly, symmetrical to the eye. I don't know exactly what the terminology is, but let's roll with it. So I'm going to glue this piece onto that piece. To make that a bigger piece. And then we'll tuck that underneath those flowers like that. Put a little purple piece on there. And we'll do that. I like it when they stick up like that. Gives a lot of dimension to your card. I'm going to stick this extra piece back there. And we've got one more little bit of purple here. All right, looky there. Now, I picked up these little mushrooms the other day at Michael's when they were on 40% off. And because we got mushrooms on the background, I thought mushrooms would look really, really cute. So we want the bottom of it to be kind of behind that flower so that we're not seeing the bottom of it sticking out. So I'm just gonna hold that down while it sets, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue behind that flower petal and glue that down onto that mushroom. Now, it's hard for me to see with it laying down. Let me, yeah, let's kind of tuck it in there a little bit. Okay. So the only thing I'm probably going to do, and I'm not going to show it on video because this is going to be long enough, is I'm probably going to add a bow maybe right here. I'm not sure. And I need to pick a sentiment. So anyway, that's, oh, I totally forgot our sentiment area. I'm so sorry. Okay, so here's our sentiment area. I've got some cute little stamps picked out. Get my little blocks. These are the stamps I'm going to use because these are little, like little mushroom hut kind of things. I'm going to need that one. Well, technically I'm only going to need this one. Let's see. Because I'm only going to use half of this. I'm going to use this one right here. So that's the only one I need. I'm going to get my ink, and you can get ink at Scrapbooking with me. So I'm only going to ink up half this mushroom little house. And it's not all going to show because I'm just going to put it on the edge. And because I'm not using a Misty, I'm going to really push that down and make sure I get a really good impression. And there we go. Oh, that looks amazing. Look how cute that is. Oh my gosh. Perfect. All right, so now we're going to take our glue. Oh, that looks so stinking cute. Doesn't it look cute? So you don't have to just use like sentiment stamps on this area. You can, you know, I've got like little tiny fairies and, you know, all kinds of stuff. Just like I showed you in the other one. So there is our card. And I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know. Give me a thumbs up. And let me know if you want me to keep doing tutorials. Thanks, guys, for watching. Happy Scrappy Day. Bye.